Good morning and welcome back. Well, I say good morning, but it is probably afternoon by the time I get this video out. So I've been putting this off and just doing small amounts on this coop for the last few months, trying to get everything else sorted. Now, as you are aware, we used to have a coop, which was a shed, which was absolutely fine up to a point at least. But then we had a bit of a fox attack, so I've been trying to create a much safer area. That fox attack really did devastate me, and if it wasn't for the strong winds at the time, the roof wouldn't have blown off and the fox wouldn't have got in. So this time I'm going to make it a little bit stronger. Well, hopefully a lot stronger. So me and my tools have been slowly working our way towards a finished coop and run. Now, they're not going to be free range, they are going to be in this whole coop area. It's reasonably large. I would love a free range flock, but I don't think my vegetables would appreciate it, and I think the local foxes really would appreciate it. So today I'm going to tackle the door. Now, we've already started covering with chicken wire all the way over the hoop, and I've got gaps and I've got to carry on filling it with using cable ties to secure that chicken wire. So today I thought I'd try and do the door. Now, it's not an easy thing to do on your own when you're trying to balance bits of wood here, there and everywhere. And we are using an awful lot of recycled things with this build, from old pallets to old pieces of wood to the old parts of the shed where the chicken coop once was anyway. Now, I'm not going to show you the coop just yet because it's a little bit of a mess, but I will show you the coop at the end of this video and discuss exactly why I've done what I have done, and hopefully that will work. So I'm just going to put this down a minute. So one of the things with this coop I'm using, like I said, is recycled material. Now, this is our old shed door that we used on the run before. Now I'm going to fit this, so actually I've got a proper doorway. One, it will save me chicken wire, because come on, good quality chicken wire is not cheap. So these are not screwed in just as yet. I'm trying to measure first for the door. Now, there's no point me getting a measuring tape out at this moment because all this wood is just so warped, and if I measure it, it's not going to be right at all angles. And to be honest, I just want to get this project done. So it's not going to be the prettiest looking. But I've started measuring out where I've got to put the battens. So now I just need to start screwing them in. So I'll show you. Now again, I really have got a mishmash of screws as well. And I have pre-drilled some holes to actually get this in. Now I know this here will be fine. Now, I'm using quite strong, no, not those ones. Now I'm using quite strong, sturdy screws because it needs to be able to hold the weight of this door. Now, this is never going to be quite square because each pallet on either side is actually a different height. Some of them are bowing in somewhat, but I'm trying to keep the actual door frame itself as square as possible for the door, if that makes any sense. All right, I think I'm going to shove one more in. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Now, that's not going to go anywhere. Now, what I think I'm going to do, because my door is no longer square, because it's been outside, and this isn't going to last forever either, but it will do for a season or two, and we can replace as and when needed. I'm actually going to hang this door first on this frame and then frame around it. We found in previous builds when we're using older materials that are maybe warped, maybe not quite square, that doing it this way and actually fitting around the door was much easier than trying to get a nice square finish on my door frame and then the door actually doesn't fit because it isn't square. So I think I'm going to go and grab my hinges. Now luckily I actually have got some brand new brackets for this. Now I did have some older ones on this, but we used them on another project. Now I have got the screws that come with these brackets, but they're absolutely pants, but I'll give them a go because I've got nothing else smaller. I'm only going to put a couple of screws on each bracket just to make sure I've actually got it in the right way, because I never get it right first time. I have probably got this wrong, and it certainly won't be the first time. That looks about right there. Now I just need to raise this little bit up so my door is not dragging on the actual doorstep. So I've just put a bit of a plastic sheet below. That's only a couple of mil. I think it's a 3 mil plastic. That should give me enough of a clearance on this actual door frame to stop it rubbing up against the wood. Right, I want to give this a go. Now the reason I didn't want it opening outwards is because the ground is higher on the outside. So now I'm going to have to change the front of the coupe a little bit. Okay, I think that will be fine. By the time I put the next bracket on, this will actually secure it. But now this seems to be the right height. Yep. I'm going to get the rest of these screws in. And there, one door. I absolutely hate hanging doors or gates or anything else. I never get it right first time. So now I've got that hung, I really need to finish the frame and I can actually work around the door frame now. It might be a bit backwards to some, me, how I'm doing it. It really does make it easier for me, especially when I'm working on my own, to actually get a door that fits correctly. So let's get on with the rest of the siding. Now I don't know whether these straps are going to be actually long enough for this. If they're not, I'll have to go and actually buy some more. I've just got 2 small offcuts left. No, they're not quite long enough. So with this, normally I'll use one of these straps, go up and over the actual pipe and then screw it back into the wood. This stops a lot of the movement and makes it quite secure. But I'll have to strengthen it in different ways. But that's fine. I can work something out. Or in the very near future, buy some more strap, which I didn't want to do because it's a big roll and I only need a few small amounts. But that will make it much more secure and it will actually attach it to the actual frame itself instead of it being wobbly and loose like it is now. Now for the rest of this framework, I'm actually going to speed the video up a little bit, a bit of time lapse, because I need to figure out as I go along how to build. And if I did it in normal video, wow, you could be here for several hours. So I'm going to work out the best way to sort this out with the resources that I have. I need to make sure that this is secure. Now, obviously it's not central, and the reason I'm not doing it central, it's less battens to build up each area. As you can see, I've got quite a gap. If I had done this on both sides, yeah, don't worry, I haven't screwed this in, I would have had to use even more battens, and I didn't want to do that. So let's get on. So the time lapse didn't quite work out, and I have a jackdaw that's really unhappy with me being here. He may go quiet in a minute. Anyway, so almost finished the framework for this gate. Now, it's not the prettiest of things, and most of these buttons I've got is actually warped, so trying to get it to fit properly is a bit of a nightmare. But I have a gate that fully opens now, enough to be able to get a wheelbarrow in and out for when I'm cleaning the coop and the run. I've just got to secure with some metal strapping on the top there, and then pull this one back and then attach this one too. It's just slightly warped in the wrong way, and I didn't want to waste another batten with something that I can actually just still use. Now, I've still got an awful lot to get sorted. I have got to do the sides. I have got to finish the chicken wire at the fronts and finish off the patches in the back. And also in places I need to wire together or cable tie together the rest of the chicken wire. Plus I've got to finish the coop and do the nest boxes. But that's one less job I actually have to worry about now. What I am doing along the sides, because this is south facing, I'm trying to keep this one side as open as possible for the chickens to make sure that they can get a bit of sunshine. But I also want to create areas where there's plenty of shades, because it's really important for your chickens. I don't want to have them in complete shade all the time, because I think that they need a little bit of sunshine. But to try and create somewhere where it's got the best of both, I think that would actually work quite well. Now, the one side which is north facing, we've used parts of the old shed. When a shed goes together, it's all in actual sections, and you just screw those sections together. So when we took it apart, we actually kept all these sections to use. Now, my theory in using this on this side, it will stop some of those northerly winds, especially in the winter for the chicks, giving them a little bit more comfort being outside. I'm just going along and stapling alongside all the chicken wire. Now, I've got to fix some little bits of wood in places to cover up some damage to this wood, because it's not the best wood, and this is an old shed. How long these edges will last us, I don't know. It could be years, or it could be just a year. But I'm going to try and make the most of them. Now, I'm not going to keep it this horrible colour blue. I absolutely hate it. And it's the same with the shed that we've actually kept up. It's all going to get painted. But I can't paint until I finish this job. Well, hopefully in the next week, I should hopefully get all the sides of this run covered. Now, on the other side, I'm actually using steel grates, which was old dog cages that we actually had that we took apart. Now, it's not going to let any foxes through. It's certainly not. There's no way are they going to be able to chew through those. rats might be a different issue. Now, I'm not trying to be completely rat free, because I think sometimes you just can't be rat free. But I will be doing things slightly different in this coop this year when we eventually get the chickens. All the food and things, I'm going to try and discourage rats by using feeders that may help. Now, I used to use a treadle feeder where the chickens used to have to stand on the treadle to actually open the lid. But I had several chickens that really were dumb, and it did take them an awful long time to do it. And they hardly ever ate because they didn't quite catch it. Now, I know a lot of chickens and stuff are fine with that, but it's not going to be fine for me, I don't think. So I might come up with a hanging chicken feeder, or something where I can actually put away at night so no rats can actually get in it. And in fact, I think the old feeder that I made out of the big plastic tub, they come with portals that I can actually put in and actually cover the food for the night so no rats can get inside. I haven't quite decided, because the food's going to be outside in this coop, not inside the coop like it was in the shed. It's going to be open to all sorts of weather, so I'm going to have to think of a better container to withstand UV and the wind and the rain. Again, it's one of those things I'll try and get over the next month or so. But that's a start, and I'm going to crack on and try and get all these little jobs done, and hopefully in another week I actually may have this whole coop actually built. Don't hold your breath. It's actually going to be dry for the next day or two, but I've also got to catch up with a lot of my sowings and my plants and things like that. But it's a start. Now, you might be asking, well, a fox could dig underneath this and go underneath. Well, I have chicken wire actually buried to about 2 foot out as a skirt, and it's going all the way down to the bottom. Now, I may actually put some slabs down here as well. I'm not too sure. I hate working with slabs. They really are a trap for weeds and everything else, but I'd rather keep my girls safe. I have got slabs down the front to stop any digging, and then by the time I put the chicken wire on the front, and then down the other side of the chicken coop, which is a storage area at the moment, I think I'm going to put slabs down and maybe some chicken wire as well. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I don't want to buy any more chicken wire, but I have got lots of offcuts of chicken wire. But it all depends how much I've got by the time I've finished my coop. Now, this is quite strong wire. It's not the strongest in the world. I probably could have gone a thicker gauge, but this is actually not too bad. It's kind of the in-between of the suggested. But normal chicken wire is just too thin, and I have seen wildlife tear through it. Now, this is a sneak peek at our coop. Again, it's made from shed sides and things like that. Now, I'm going to make it stronger, and I'm not going to lie, it's probably not going to be much prettier, but that blue paint is definitely going. I have 2 opening doors at the front that open out fully, so it's easy to clean. But I need to move it because we've had to move it around somewhat to be able to get this chicken wire in. And as you can see with these gaps, I've still got to go in and cable tie or wire all these closed, so nothing can actually climb up and in. And until I do that, I can't move my coop into the place. So I'm thinking of the coop being down the bottom. The nest box is going to be on the side, so that's easy access. The front completely opens, including a chicken coop door, so I can get complete access to clean out your coop. Because that's something you've really got to think about, because trust me, when you have to clean your chickens out on a regular basis, if it's really, really awkward to do, the last thing you want to do is actually contend with cleaning that coop. So that's it for this video. I will bring you some updates, but I thought, but some people were asking about my chicken coop and when am I going to show any progress so far. So this is how far I've got. Hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of this week, I'm hoping for at least 90% done. As for what chickens I'm getting, I'm still not 100% sure of what I'm doing. I think I am going to go for the day olds to bring on heat at home. Less risks of any diseases by bringing in other fowl. I can get all the varieties that I actually want, and because of the varieties I want, I can actually almost guarantee that they will be female. And that will save any issues with me having any males or roosters later on in the future. So stay tuned, I will show the update and hopefully it will be finished very soon.